Damen und Herren, Ladies and Gentlemen, von mir ein herzliches Willkommen, ein warm welcome and auf Bayerisch Grüß Gott to our Symposium of Bauhaus Luftfahrt on the Future of Aviation. Ganz besonders begrüßen möchte ich die Staatssekretärin Frau Hessen, die uns heute hier das vom Wirtschaftsministerium vertritt, speziell eben dadurch, dass durch die Krisensituation der Herr Zeil heute im Krisengebiet unterwegs ist, freut mich besonders, dass Sie kurzfristig eingesprungen sind. Vielen Dank, herzlich willkommen. Ebenso begrüßen möchte ich den Dr. Merz, auch vom Wirtschaftsministerium, der in der Podiumsdiskussion teilnehmen wird, und natürlich ganz besonders unsere Industriepartner auch hier benennen, den Dr. Müller-Wiesner von der EADS, herzlich willkommen, den Dr. Martens von der MTU Aero Engines, den Herrn Schrott von der IABG und den Herrn Lütjens von der Firma Liebherr und auch an dieser Stelle den Herrn Liebherr persönlich von der Firma Liebherr, der heute auch zu Gast ist. But also to all of you a warm welcome from all the experts out of the research, out of industry and from politics, and a warm welcome to our first international and open symposium of Bauhaus Luftfahrt. We will have, just as an organizational issue, mixed languages this morning, so I will have an English introduction and then we have a German speech and a German panel discussion, so whoever needs translation, we have translators available, so just pick up the phone and pick up the translation device and you get the English translation. So future aviation, this is not only the title of our symposium, but also, from my perspective, the main task, the main challenge for our community. What we have achieved so far in aviation is quite outstanding. So from the initial steps from air transport up to now, what we achieved is quite incredible. So we had a large reduction of emissions and noise. We have gained a tremendous increase of air transport capacity that we achieved over the years. But we are now coming more and more, while the demand of mobility is still increasing in all the different domains, coming to some limits. And I guess this is one of the key challenges that we have to face, how we overcome those limits and how we find solutions about that. So what are the key elements that we need to do to come across the evolutionary step and development of technologies that we are today? Still, with the growing demand in mobility, we have to work on efficiencies. And efficiencies don't even mean that we are not only talking about fuel efficiency of aircraft. Just a quick example, if you just recall your last air travel that you have done, what is what you remember? In most of the cases, you don't remember the type of aircraft. In some cases, you even remember the airline that you took. In even major cases, you remember the airports and the vicinity that you started from or you arrived. But what is to most of the people and the passengers most prominent is the hassles you had to take to come across the air transport. And this is how we have to address efficiencies in the future. So how do we come across those hassles to make it again attractive like it has been in the very beginning, so that everyone was enthusiastic to fly? Right now, air transport is really a key element for our economy, but it has lost to some extent the specialty and the attractiveness, and it's really the one kind of mobility you want to use because you gain something like fun, like expertise, like experience out of it. What do we have to do for it? We have to foster and we have to create an air transport system that will keep up with the increasing demand of mobility. So this has a lot of impact. So we have to tackle it from the process side, and we have to find new and create or integrate new technologies that enable some of the topics. One example of it is about noise and emissions. It's not only for, let's say, protecting and securing the environment. It's also one of the possible pathways we have to follow, for example, to enable 24 hours operations of the air transport system, which could in the future be one of the key elements really to tackle the capacity demand of air transport. On the other hand side, we need to get the air transport as one element in an intermodal transport like we have today, because in most of the cases you only choose the air transport for long distance travel. You have to connect it somehow to the other modes of transportation and make it more efficient so that we don't get in the end the feeling of that we just remember the hassles of the journey itself, but more the experience out of flying. This means that we have to get more back to the focus of the passenger, but also to keep at the same time the transport system itself efficiently over the overall process chain. And this should be the key topic of this symposium. So this is really about share and discuss, on one hand side, technological and operational ideas and concepts that could enable that step change. And this is why we have organized this symposium, and we are happy that you all, as experts in the community, are here to share the ideas, to discuss about the ideas, and to create and shape the future of aviation, and a little bit looking into what could be the options that we have in the next 2 to 3 decades up to the year 2050, which is for us currently some kind of a magic number. So I'm very glad that you're here, that we share 2 days on ideas, on technology, on creative thinking about what could be the shape of the air transport by 2050 and what would be necessary to come to that step. Thanks very much and welcome to our symposium.